MakingStarWars.net.
Hey, YouTube.com. I'm Jason Ward from MakingStarWars.net. And how's it going, everybody? Everybody in the chat doing okay? Arya says, damn, streaming the whole weekend. Now that's dedication. That's what I call obsession. It's crazy. It's not healthy. Anyways, yeah, but we're, in that week right now where all the Kenobi stuff's going to be hitting. And so that's where I plan on being, I'm really excited about it. So we got a new little TV spot today. And I did the usual, cropped it weird, and and I put it fast, then I put it slow. So we'll watch it right now together, and then we will talk over the slow version. Here we go.
The Jedi are cowards. They failed you. There is no point in protecting them.
Where is Obi-Wan?
2-episode premiere streaming this Friday only on Disney+.
So in my opinion, we have two things going on here. And the first is Kenobi gets a transport. And this will have spoilers. So if you don't want any spoilers, now's the time to jump out, obviously. But right here, we see Kenobi on this ship. And I get the impression that this is his meditation scene. But there's another scene it could be first. I just want to throw out there, get that out of the way. And that's that it's Kenobi leaves Tatooine to go to Dayu, and he takes the transport there. I've been under the impression that it's been more of a standard transport, but you never know. So this could just be Kenobi being nervous about being off-road for the first time in 10 years. Okay, it could be that. But based on how he's sitting and his expression and stuff like that, I also want to throw out there that that could be him when he does his meditation about Anakin's training in the past and about how he and Anakin, had this, these training sessions. And he goes back and he meditates on that. And that's what gives us our flashback. And that flashback, see right here, you can see him like that looks like it could be like the opening of a base, but it can also be the opening of a transport ship. So I'm not exactly like willing to die on a hill about which one it is, but it does look a little bit like this might be how we get to the flashback. So that's a theory of mine. And you guys should let me know what you guys think in the chat right now, because it definitely looks like that's what it's going to be. And someone is asking right now about when Kenobi drops and all of that jazz. And so here's how it's gonna go. Let me get rid of this video because we've already seen it. Okay, so Obi-Wan Kenobi is going to release episode 1 on May 27th. That means on May 26th, you're going to want to be up if you're going to stay up at midnight to watch it. So May 26th, you'll be able to watch it at midnight. It comes out May 27th. Episode 2 will follow right away. And then episode 3 is June 1st. So obviously the day before is when you're going to want to be on for that. You came. I didn't think I thought you'd be like, after we watch Revenge of the Sith today, I'm done.
Well, you got me in my room working, so I'm like, why not?
Why not? All right, so episode 3 is June 1st. So the day before June 1st, you want to be up. I don't know. Is there 31 days in May or 30? I can't remember. Episode 4 is June 8th. So that means on the June 7th, you're going to want to stay up to midnight, watch it with us. Episode 5 is June 15th. So that means you're going to want to stay up on June 14th with us. And episode 6 is June 22nd, which means you're going to want to stay up June 21st to midnight to stay up and watch it with us. So that's the release schedule. I'll make something that's a little easier. I'll make a graphic or something that'll be like the midnight schedule we could throw up. That way everybody could stay on the same page as us. But I'll throw up that video again, and you could tell me what you think. Are you able to watch the screen okay right now, dude? Like if I put something up, or
yeah,
okay. So the whole thing is we have Kenobi sitting down, sort of in his Qui-Gon kind of state, and we We see him from the front and the back this time. We've seen the front shot before. The whole thing about it is this Kenobi on a transport to Daiyu, or is this Kenobi when he does the meditation around Jabim? That's the whole question. So you'll have to unmute yourself if you want to talk once it goes into slow mode, by the way.
The Jedi are cowards. They failed you. There is no point in protecting them.
Where is Obi-Wan?
2-episode premiere streaming this Friday only on Disney Plus.
Yeah, what do you think?
I think that's him going to the planet. I don't think that's after they fight. Like,
you want to know what just occurred to me about why it's mostly likely not the meditation scene? His clothes. If he's badly burned by Darth Vader, he couldn't have the clothes, could he?
well, that and it looks like he's hiding in a transport cargo area. You know, what I mean?
Right.
It doesn't look like he's recuperating from a fight or anything like that. It just looks like he's, you know, he's stowing away. Remember when he comes up with the idea in 77? You know, we could just hide in these panels and shit. Didn't he come up with that? Who came up with that?
No, well,
Yeah, Obi-Wan came up with that. There are other ways.
He knew.
Right?
Yeah, Obi-Wan knew that you could smuggle yourself instead of.
He's smuggling himself.
Which was also a testament that Han Solo wasn't a human trafficker.
Yeah, he
throw
didn't
that out
even
there.
think about it.
You know, he's like, what?
People
You can
can
do that?
go in here.
Yeah, he's like, this is where I keep my drugs.
Yeah.
Go ahead, get in there. I don't care.
Obi-Wan goes, you can smuggle people. And he goes, get the fuck out of my house.
Pretty much. I would cut to the clip, but we can't do 2 clips at once. That's so yeah. So right here we could see that does look like that might be like the back of the transport ship, right? Like,
Yeah.
So yeah, I had a lot of questions about that already this morning. Woke up, a lot of people asking me if that's what that is, and I'm gonna say it's still a special moment. It's the first time he leaves Tatooine, but it's not the moment where he meditates. That's our prediction. But everyone's welcome to disagree because we haven't seen the show.
I'm not good at predictions when we see a scene. What that is, I think
you
I'm
rocked
0 and 3,000.
Star Wars Sanders. You rocked his predictions thing on Book of Boba Fett, but that was just cynicism, right?
That was cynicism. Yeah. As the tail end of the Gen X, whatever the fuck we are, we're really good at that.
Yeah.
I mean, look at my face.
Look at you. You know, looks like our album cover. Yeah. Darren says absolute madness this next week. We will have seen episodes 1 and 2 and we'll be getting hyped for 3. I know it's going to be like 1, 2, 3. It's going to be like really fast how quick we get them in succession. As I was looking at the release dates and like writing it down for us, I was like, you know, this is going to go by really quick. I'm glad, but I'm also not. I mean, it's like basically we got June. We get into June, we watch Kenobi, and then we're done. It's a 1 month special.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of people going, it's 2 little episodes. Should have had 13 or 22 or whatever. Yeah, could you imagine the Obi-Wan CW show where it's 22 episodes? And
oh, God.
People be throwing themselves off the roofs of their homes.
Yeah.
Like 3PO falling off a skiff, you know?
Oh, by the way, I got my celebration badge yesterday. My buddy,
we got to talk about that.
Cedar gave it to me.
I'm worried for you going.
Yeah,
I know several people have all come down with COVID in the Los Angeles area. Like
really
this week,
yeah.
You know,
right?
Just letting you know, man.
Yeah. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. I mean, I'm definitely gonna say I'm going the whole time to make my cowardly detractors nervous. So
maybe you can go in that Ralph McQuarrie Star Killer, like, you know, with the face mask with the tubes and the goggles. Like
maybe I could cosplay as Finn in that bubble suit from the Last Jedi, but I'll just put like a hat on, and then I'll be like, "You're all domed."
Don't.
But that would protect me from COVID.
Yeah, it's not good.
But we're so close. I know we are.
We are.
Really, we are like, God, what's today? Today is the 22nd, Sunday the 22nd right now. So Yeah, we're there. I mean, the night of the 26th is pretty much showtime, right? Is that what I said? The 26th, the night?
Showtime.
Oh, yeah. It comes out May 27th. So far there hasn't been anything though about Celebration doing a screening or showing the episodes or anything like that. There hasn't been anything saying that is the plan. Like that was the big assumption, was that they changed the release date because of Celebration. And also, if you do panels at Celebration, people have been missing the first episode or Leia. Like you can't do a panel.
They
It's
really
like,
want
what do
you
you
to subscribe so badly they won't even show it for free. You know, they're like, we can do a party, but you have to have a subscription.
I'm gonna go with, at this point, they know if you're at Celebration, you have a subscription. I think. I don't know.
There's a lot of freeloaders out there.
True. Hey Alfred, how's it going? So what time will Kenobi drop? The Disney Plus shows have always dropped at midnight. Usually they drop around, sometimes up to 10 minutes before. And what I do is I open Disney Plus on my phone and on my Roku, and I just go to the page, and then if it's on my Roku's where I'm going to watch it on my television. So if it's there, I just start watching it early. If it shows up on the phone early, I hit play, then I hit stop, then I go over to my Roku and I hit resume, and then I'm able to watch it on my TV 10 minutes early. So, and when we're doing these shows, like with Book of Boba Fett, that 10 minutes gives me enough time to get some screenshots and stuff. So it actually is kind of important that I do it. But that's me being a crazy obsessive. But you can do that if you really want to get in, 10 to 15 minutes early. They've shown up as early as 15 minutes early, but they've also shown up as late as 5 minutes after the hour. So that's happened too. So Arya says, which episode was it that he got his flashback? And when did we see him here? I hate you. So the flashback is in the 5th episode. In the 5th episode. So yeah, in the 4th episode, they have round 1. They fight. Obi-Wan's burned. 5th episode, Obi-Wan's healed up, goes into his headspace, starts trying to figure out what he's going to do, meditates. Young Anakin. Okay. Now the I hate you thing, that was more of like a euphemism. I'm not saying like it's him saying I hate you, that it's that kind of shit though. Is what I was hearing that they were doing for these moments. And like so be prepared for, number one, them those not to even be there. Be prepared for it just to be an audio, a fleeting piece of ADR. And also be prepared for the fact that we may actually see that shit. You know what I mean? Because I'm not sure what they're actually doing with it. I just know what content they were creating down at Manhattan Beach and in El Segundo. So but the one thing I am promising, raising my right hand, swearing it's true, is the flashback to the training session. And that is the meat of it. So another thing that occurred to me that I never asked about, but what if those other moments where we have him being a little shit are in the same day? What if it's all the same scene? And what if we get little bits of that scene and then we get the big moment of the scene? That's something else just to throw out there. Because once again, like I got the meat, but I don't know every little tiny baby detail. And once we get into those middle episodes too, there's going to be a lot of like traveling around and running and stuff like that. And so that's where I feel like less confident in some of the beats. And when I say like I'm less confident, I don't mean I don't believe a flashback happens and it's what I said. The big stuff I said happens. It's the little tiny things that I go, like for instance, I've been told this whole time, Kumail Nanjiani is kind of a seedy, scuzzy character. He's not necessarily what he seems
in real life.
Yeah, what's that? No, not in real life. His character.
Yeah. Oh, never mind.
God
TMZ.
Damn it. You son of a bitch. But
veins on his arm, bro.
Right? Ripped.
I've been pulling weeds all morning. I'm like, the weeds aren't even. Damn, dude, he's just growing something in there. Fuck. So jealous.
But anyways, though, like when I say like, then they go here, then they go there, it's like all that stuff is like, I knew what they were filming on these days. I know what episodes they were filming when they did it. I was able to construct a coherent outline, and I kept asking questions. So it was basically like the best I can do with the participants in this study, if you will, that I had. So, but where I was going with that was they make it sound like he's like, just like he's a con man and like he's going to con Obi-Wan or something like that. And what if that happens? You know what I'm saying? And I was told Bell sends him to a Dayu and that he meets him because of Bell. And then like what they were saying in that interview, I felt like kind of made me less confident in some of that stuff a little bit. No, not less confident in my stuff, but less confident in, is that Bell's boy? Or does he just meet that guy because Bell sent him there? And it was like the first guy he meets when he gets off the, train to Dayu. So this is the stuff that we're trying to figure out now. And, hey, Meg's here. Good morning, Meg. How are you? Thomas Shane says, I've heard people bringing up that Obi-Wan shouldn't lose hope, and that breaks his character. Honestly, I don't agree, but what do you think? I think character. I got the I'm verklempt with my coffee. That is really ridiculous.
They're struggling, Jason. They're just looking for something now. You know what I mean?
They are. Yeah.
I was told characters and character arcs and motivations don't matter. It's just a silly story when Boba Fett came out. And now it's like, if he fucking moves 3 degrees to the left of Anchorhead, that breaks character.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, what would you do if all your fucking friends died? You know what I mean? It's been 10 years later. I mean, like, everyone around town is just saying all the Jedi suck. They failed the galaxy. We're all in no one cares about us. They just quit on us. How would you feel? Like, do you want a Star Wars where people think about the consequences of their actions, good or bad, or don't you?
Well, do you want a story or don't you? Furthermore, because if your character starts at point A and ends at point A, there just is no story. When we get into a little bit more downtime, I don't want to make Star Wars school. So I don't want to make it boring, but if we could find a fun way, maybe we could look at some like story structure stuff, and maybe in a fun way we can do it where, it's at least like an introduction most of our audience has a higher aptitude for this stuff, which is why we get along with this audience. But that other audience, they just don't really understand filmmaking at all.
Right. Let me give you my shorthand for any story, right? As I understand it, and this can help all of you in your life, even when you're recounting shit that happens daily, okay? What you really want is to have meaningful experiences with meaningful choices and meaningful consequences, good or bad. Doesn't matter if it's a positive story arc or a negative story arc or a nothing story arc. It means that there's meaningful experiences.
That's how I live my stupid life.
And so, like, when we were talking about pro wrestling, as much as I find 90s and 80s pro wrestling fun to watch, those aren't really those are momentary moments, but they don't have meaningful consequences long term. They just don't happen. Once they're done, they need to move on to the next card who's going to fight to draw a pay-per-view. That's not
it's a setup. It's a setup for a joke usually, like to make Razor Ramon go, Chico, we can do this, and you're like, he's doing it again. He's doing it again.
The bad guy. I love it. But so that's really just what you want. So when you tell someone what you did you have a meaningful choice? If you go, I went to the store and something was weird. What happened? Oh, it was weird. And you're like, oh, whatever. Guess you had to be there. Like, that's not a meaningful experience. That's just an anecdote. Yes.
But what they what's the fundamental misunderstanding is that they feel like this changes the guy that they saw on screen. This changes the guy we saw in episode 3 to the guy we saw on screen in episode 4. That's That's the funny part. No one ever said that he was always a beacon of hope and promise. In fact, I'm even going to throw out there that in a pretty big way, Obi-Wan and Yoda's plan was just a bunch of fucking quitter talk. Well, guess we can't do it. Let's go hide. I mean, in reality, if this was an ongoing story and we were following Kenobi as our main character, and then they did that, they would all call him a fucking quitter, and they would be really mad about it. And that's kind of what they did. I mean, and you know, you could say, depending on what your interpretation of the macro story is at any given moment, I think right now the macro story, the idea is that in a weird way, somehow Yoda and Obi-Wan Kenobi knew that love was what pulled Anakin under, and it was maybe the only thing that was going to pull him out. They didn't necessarily always believe in certain aspects of it, but that's where they were at. And so when they get Luke, though, they start training Luke to fight. They don't want Luke to go to Bespin, but he does. And I've heard Filoni kind of contradict himself. I think his point of view on this, for instance, has gone back and forth. Not that Filoni wrote this series, but he's definitely a voice at Lucasfilm, so he has some sway. And but I've heard Filoni go like, "Oh, they knew that it was going to be Luke who brought him back. They knew it was going to be that." But at the same time, you know, you have there's little check marks that go for and against that idea. And the more that they put into its favor, the more that we'll be able just to go with that concept, I think. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Or did I lose you?
Look, I'm just thinking back while you're saying this. I'm hearing you, but I'm just thinking back to like when Alec Guinness would do interviews in 1977. Like he was on the something Patterson show, Dick Patterson, one of those fucking shows, you know, and he was just like, my dialogue was, I'm going to do Ringo because it's funnier. My dialogue was really, had to have the ability of, you know, if you could change the dialogue, it would be better, you know? So like Alec Guinness was like, this isn't good. But I kept turning the page, so I had to keep reading. So, you know, and they gave me 2%, so why not? You know, like
Ringo Star Wars, ladies and gentlemen. Ringo Star Wars. This is your daily Ringo Star Wars.
Yay. Sounds more like Yakko. But
I want to hold your hand in Star Wars is literally a severed hand that you just found floating around Bespin's air. It's way creepier. I think Salvador is joking with us, but I love Salvador. Is Reva a villain or become an ally? No, she's a villain. She's a villain the whole time. At the very end, she just can't cross a line for herself personally, is my take. And will she become a new hero? Nah, she becomes dead.
I'm also thinking of that moment in 77 when Obi-Wan goes, I just felt a million voices. I don't know. I'll have to think about this. And he just walks off, and then they get off to talking about some other shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, come on, guys. Like, it's still a movie. You know what I mean? Like, I get what you guys want to do, and you want some deep-seated path. There'll be a book, like, a year from now that over-explains everything to your heart's content, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Obi-hood. They'll call it Obi-hood. Right?
Obi-hood.
Where it adds a bunch of. Someone was saying to me, "Hey man, this really covers this era where they didn't cover in the prequels," and I'm like, "You never read Rogue Planet, huh?" Like,
yeah,
the Star Wars book that made me quit Star Wars books for 10 years.
You know what though? On the flip side, I believe Rogue Planet is Star Wars Meg's favorite book. It just just goes to show. Yeah, it did with me during the prequel era when I was going in live. I was reading every comic, I was reading every book, and Rogue Planet was like the one that was like, we're going into Attack of the Clones territory. And I read it and I was like, no, we're not. This is not going.
I only read it. I hated the cover art, and I had this thing where if it's not a drawn cover, I'm not interested. But you know, they brought up Ray Sinar, and at the time I thought that was it Gabriel. What's his name? The guy that was in
Gabriel Byrne. Gabriel Byrne,
yeah, was gonna play Ray Sinar.
He was up for Dooku at the time.
Right, but I was like, I was there for just the Tarkin Ray Sinar formation of the military building stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, Gabriel Byrne, Christopher Walken, and Christopher Lee were the three primary contenders for Count Dooku. And
they should have got someone who could actually move.
Well, they were clearly going. They named him Count, and they wanted a Dracula. They were clearly going for a more vampiric thing, and then they didn't do it. I don't know why. It's barely Dracula, but yeah. Why no podcast on Apple anymore? Well, here's the truth of the matter. I don't think it's necessarily worth it. Maybe it will become worth it again. Maybe we'll start releasing these on Apple or on on podcast platforms and stuff. But this show is kind of new. Now this is podcasting is dead, and so I was just like, kind of like, what's the point? And here's a reality about podcasting versus YouTube. At the height of Now This Is Podcasting, we were number 2 in TV and film one day. That was 66,000 downloads. It's really easy to remember because of Order 66. And so that was it. And that was during The Force Awakens at the height of Star Wars mania, if you will, on the return. 66,000 downloads. I watched Star Wars Meg, who I love, by the way, but come out and be like, oh, geez, gee willikers, wouldn't it be cool if Mace Windu had a purple lightsaber and was in Book of Boba Fett? And it's 67,000 downloads. And so and for the record though, I don't just do it for like the metrics of, you know what I mean, whatever. But but what I originally was doing it for was because I wanted to drive traffic to my site, to my reports. That was my initial like reason for doing it. And it became very clear to me, even during Now This Is Podcasting, I was like, we need to get out of the podcast. We need to go to YouTube. And then every single time we'd go to do it, everybody I worked with was like, well, we need lights and we need a 8K camera and all this shit. I'm just like, no, we don't. We just need to take this broken ass phone and point it towards our face, And it's all.
I got a cartoon up for me. Like,
you got a cartoon up for you, yeah. I know.
Yeah.
I mean,
you don't have to. What you need is your content and me ruining all the jokes. Like that works.
Yeah, that works.
Apparently, it's a formula. It has grown.
Well, it hides that my jokes aren't working if you ruin them before, so it makes me look good. That's why I got you. But yeah. But anyways, my automated system broke. It's not working anymore. I need to upload a bunch of these to Patreon. And so that's kind of been the free way, also, and a profitable way at the same time, as people are supporting the show and then they're getting audio versions of the show. But maybe, if this continues to grow and, if I don't have to do any other work to support myself, if this continues to grow and I get channel members and stuff like that, then that will definitely be on the table. So, but right now, I mean, well, that was the other thing too, is to like do the podcast stuff right, and to really like, get everything up and running and stuff like that. You got to spend like $45 a month on like hosting to like really have like a solid host and stuff. And it's just like right now, it's like, well, there went the Patreon. You know what I mean? It would be like taking money here and putting it there. I might as well just put the money on Patreon and have people subscribe there. So that's been my take. But I will I know that a lot of people just can't watch YouTube all day, and I wouldn't, and I want to reach those people too, and have that relationship with that part of the audience. So we'll definitely think about a way or try to figure something out, something better. But you could always become a supporter on my Patreon, and let me know, because I looked at the Patreon downloads and they're not very high, so I don't think people are really caring about the audio only versions. But if anybody disagrees, let me know, and I'll make sure I do it. So Arya says, the scary part about COVID is that you could have it for a whole week without any symptoms and still spread it to others. Yes, that is like the really big fear and the really big threat. I personally, like I said, I'm considering going. I got a free badge here, and I want to go. Do I think it's a good idea? No. Do I think it's actually a bad idea? But I am also a little bit to this bitter part of this whole thing where I go someplace, I wear a mask everywhere I go, but I'm the only one. It's like, cool. Yeah. I'm getting a little pissed off about it, where like I go into to the grocery store, I have the mask on, nobody else does. And it's like, oh well, hey, I'm really glad I could protect you, fucking asshole. You know what I mean? So I'm a little bit like, I'm like Obi-Wan Kenobi right now. I think it's starting to beat me.
I'm wearing mine forever. I don't give a shit. I love being the guy that
Yeah.
makes everyone else uncomfortable. Like I walk in there, I'm like, remember when Larry David tripped Shaq and everyone hated him and he started his life gets better? Like for like a day, he's super happy.
Yeah.
Like that's me wearing the mask around Boise,
Yeah.
all these fucking right wingers like, and I'm like, yeah, skip him a step, like I don't care.
I
always
Real bad
wanted to
man.
look like a Mortal Kombat ninja.
Yeah, I'll be what's his name, Scorpion, and you could be what's the other guy, Frostbite,
Noob
Iceburn,
Cybot.
Cybot. Okay, well,
Yes.
what was the ice one?
Oh, that was Sub-Zero.
I'll be Sub-Zero. Hello there. Kenobi has hope in Rebels, which is after this story, so it aligns. Yeah, it completely does. I mean, this is the same. I don't know if it's a grift or a misconception of how story works. Or maybe it's both. Probably both. Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi has given up. You want to slap him in his fucking face and get in the ring, Rock. You want to do that to him. By the end of it, he gets in the fucking ring. But they do not acknowledge that part. They just completely.
Oh, I do. That's why I like the ending. I just don't like Hamill's performance.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Hamill's fault. I actually blame Rian for keeping that take. The take where he chucks it and shrugs. It's a goofy, hammy moment. And I just feel like if you're going to continue the moment from the last movie, continue the tone of that moment so they link right up. That's a smarmy, goofy, almost a cock knocker, version of Mark Hamill right there. That's my only complaint about his performance. Other than that, once he puts on that, he goes in that hut, comes out, he's the other character that Rian wrote. Like, it's fine, but like that take.
Are you just calling him Rian now, or are you joking?
What does it matter?
Kinda.
You say tomato, I say Rihanna.
They're going to be like, how do we believe this guy's spoilers if they can't even say his name, which is Rian Johansson, correctly?
The Gungans and Rian really, they're two of the same coin. They rhyme.
I am all aboard on the Last Jedi. It's actually the performance of The Rise of Skywalker where I feel like he's like
it's even worse.
They're so into themselves and laughing about their own how special their moment is. I'm like, you made it not special. But
when Luke raises the X-wing and he's doing that laugh, I almost walked out the theater. My wife said, "You can't. We paid for this." If I were alone, I would have walked out. I'm out. I'm out.
Sit down, Rob. Come on.
I'm out.
Now this podcasting is dead. Long live the Making Star Wars show. That's kind of where my heart's at, honestly.
We should if we continue the podcast part, we should call it "This Is Ruination."
Yeah. No. If
Star Wars Ruination.
There's no way I'm doing this twice. I would just take this audio and put it on a podcast.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You'd have a bumper, right? Or you just take the audio and.
Yeah.
If you get a sponsor, like if we get one of the Manscapes, Star Wars Ruination. That's
And that's actually another part. And this is just, I know a lot of you have talked about wanting to do podcasts or interested in it. That's like the other side of it. When we had the podcast, it was like a full-time job doing the podcast ads to make it into a thing. Talking to Funko and whoever else, you know what I mean? The t-shirt companies and stuff. That was a whole full-time job. And I'm not complaining about, oh God, you made money doing what you love. I get it. I understand how that is, but there's like, the fun part was doing the podcast. The not fun part was having phone calls with stupid fucking trust fund babies and their cush jobs at geek companies. It's just not fun. And so
I've worked for those people.
How to make it, yeah. It's like and we had a guy at one point who was like trying to help us with that stuff, but all that guy really did was want to get the free Funko Pops. So it was a huge bummer the whole time. So if I could ever find a way to make it all line up and stuff like that, it would be great, and we will see. But also I am dealing with this onslaught of people that just want to spread misinformation about me. And I don't even know if I could even go approach a sponsor without it just getting knocked out, right away by somebody going, did you know he's whatever, and then it's like, and then I have to go prove I'm not, and then but can you please watch this 2-hour video to prove I'm not that? I don't know if I could. So that's where I'm a little bit, Star Wars Make says, I'm a bit confused with the argument that Obi-Wan leaving Tatooine breaks canon. 20 years is a long time. Yeah, Meg, that's where I'm always at with this stuff. It's like
very long time.
The Clone Wars has arguably more Star Wars than anything in the history of Star Wars per screen time, I think. And it's 3 years. It's 3 years of story. And it's like, so like Obi-Wan Kenobi, you can have a lot. The one that really gets on my nerves is, well, who's guarding Luke? It's not like everybody's like jumping out to try to like diddle Luke constantly or kill him or anything. It's really weird. It's such a weird assumption.
I don't know, that bartender at the fucking cantina seems questionable.
I honestly wouldn't trust my kids around 8D8 personally, but it does seem like that's this place people keep defaulting to. And my answer to that is always, who's been watching over Leia the whole time, and she's the one who gets taken, So it's definitely like something where we just have to like understand. I know Meg does. I'm obviously not talking down to Meg, or I don't mean to talk down to anybody. But when you have to understand is that this is like a difficult balance for our heroes. There's really not enough of them to like really do this, and the more people who know a secret, the more it gets out. Lucasfilm, I'm kidding, but it's just the way that it is. So they really don't want to bring anybody else. And like after we watch this, people are gonna be like, why don't they just have Rokin guard Luke? That's the kind of things I think that we might start asking. Why didn't the partisans just guard Luke? Well, because eventually the secret gets out. And also before that argument even starts, which I think it may, I've looked at the story a lot. I could kind of see that becoming a thing. Look at what happens to Saw. Look at what happens to Saw Gerrera's people. Look at what happens to Saw Gerrera. And if those were the people watching Luke, remember what Saw Gerrera did to the person who was like his daughter, Jyn? He gave her a gun and a knife, or a knife maybe only, and like dropped her off somewhere, like abandoned her because that was better for her than being with them. So what was that, dude?
Well, originally when Lucas wrote the drafts of the original Star Wars, it was excerpts from the Journals of the Wills. And so I always assumed that these were stories that were being told and they're fuzzy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, that's it. They're fuzzy. Sometimes that certain point of view comes into handy where you're like, well, when I was telling the story, maybe it's Robert Falk, Peter Falk, right? Sitting on the bed with Fred Savage. Then the very next night.
And then...
Well... in the Star Wars, he wanted to kiss his sister. Mm-hmm. I wanted to kiss my sister. And he goes, you want to kiss your sister? And he goes,
yeah.
Oh, never mind. It was from a point of view. So,
shout out to Little Monsters. Great movie.
Drink your pee.
Remember yesterday? We talked about Little Monsters yesterday. Arya, all I want is for Kenobi to get some I hate you PTSD sounds or flashback randomly. Now that would be scary. Yeah, so that was the thing. So here's to kind of give you a little bit of why I know something that I know. Was when they were filming one of the EOP sequences. Like, you remember he jumps off and like he has a moment, and they're like, somebody told me that Chow is like talking to Ewan and having him go through the motions, and she's like, you're remembering Anakin now. You're hearing the voice. And so that's been in my head. Is that just the subtlety, or is it ADR? You see what I'm saying? Because the people who are there, they're not the people who make it. Don't edit it. They don't see it till it comes out, like most of us, or they do a premiere or something. So, hey Don, how's it going? Jedi are human ones, anyways. They may not be as much easily deterred or depressed as non-sensitives, but geez, they are not static. Why do people want static on changing characters? That's boring. Yeah, exactly. I mean, and I think that's been like one of the underlying themes that these people are missing, especially the ones who call themselves prequel fans, is that humanity is going to win. the love of a father and son is going to win out over Jedi doctrine about what how the Jedi say something should be. That's the human spirit is going to come through no matter what. And so it's like, yeah, a Jedi can be the most, one of the, godlike superhumans in the world, but they're still going to get depressed. And there's even things about, and those flaws that we all have. It's something that the extra stories have explored really well. Even Pong Krell, who really becomes an evil Jedi, if you will, not a Sith, but he goes down a dark path. It's because he's still in war too. He's still what happens when you put a person in war for too long. And you know what I mean? They start to lose their humanity, and then they lose touch of that whole thing. And that's like why Anakin has that conversation with Padme, where he's like, Jedi are encouraged to love. Like he's able to kind of twist it to, hook up with her. But but it is obviously Anakin takes it too far. But it does. That is.
I always felt he should have dropped the certain point of view bit right there. Thought it would be funny.
From a certain point of view. Yeah.
Yeah, you could say.
Hey, Mike, how's it going? Star Wars.
Oh, by the way, Oral Knots. It's only up for Patreons right now, so it'll be on probably tomorrow.
Okay.
But the hype for Obi-Wan's so strong, they just put up Dance Fight 66, Obi versus Annie round 1.
All right.
And it's 6 minutes 45 seconds long. Can't wait.
Yeah, man, it would be cool to interview them one of these days. I wonder if they would let us interview them. We should ask them, see if they would be down. Star Wars makes this. Here's a song Ringo wrote. It's about an octopus and a garden or something. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Star Wars makes this. Dang, Jason, I don't even remember telling you that, but yeah, Rogue Planet is such a great novel. Meg, I honestly read it through your mind. I have ESP, and that's how I get the spoilers. No,
all I hear is that Superman song.
I feel like I feel like you said it on Santa's show or something one time, and I was like, wow, I didn't expect you to have read that one because you were probably like 4 years old or something when it came out. I want to say, maybe. I don't even know if you were that old. So I was like, when you said that, I was like, wow, I'm surprised that's one of the ones that you read, because if I don't remember. Actually, I'm just surprised anybody read that one, not even because of your age, just because most people don't remember that book.
That was a depressing day for me, because I had to get this medical evaluation in the military, and they didn't care what I was. So the guy just didn't even look at me, just wrote something down like, no, you're fine. I'm like, oh, I figured, but I was real depressed on the way back, and I was reading this book. I'm like, this book is not fucking helping.
Yeah.
I dropped it off at a library on the way. As a library just put in their book bin donation and kept going. Yeah, it's quit.
It was a good day for me if I'm remembering this right, because Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds came out, and I was a big Age of Empires nerd, and it was like Age of Empires Star Wars, and I was like, yeah, and like I was like playing against my friends, and I had friends who were really good at Age of Empires, but they had been playing before me because they had a computer before me, and this like equaled the battlefield, and I was winning. I was like, having a good time. We took a break. I started reading the book. I read about half the book. And I was like, nah, and I got back to Battlegrounds. But that's when
my buddy bought the book, because he was mad I donated it. He bought it again, and then I finished it like 3 months later. I was depressed.
It just turns out with me, I'd probably read it again just to like put it into some historical context for myself and understand it. I'm a lot more advanced now. Maybe I would like it. Maybe I wouldn't. Maybe I hate it even more. But I would like to look at it again with like fresh eyes. But then it was being touted as like, this is important to the future of the Star Wars prequels. You're going to want to know where they're going with the characters. And as I read it, it was clear that it was a bait and switch, a real one that time.
That was a real bait and switch.
A real one. Yeah. I've lived through the real ones. I don't need the fake ones.
And when there was no Rey Sinar in Attack of the Clones, believe me, I was like, that was an angry night.
Yeah. Don, this is my buddy Rob Sketchcraft. He does every episode with me. And so yeah, he's the other host, plus or minus, But Real Ben Maynard says, I about walked out over Luke overdosing on the Force. Laugh out loud. Luke overdosed on the Force. Oh, when he dies in The Last Jedi. Yeah, I kind of liked it, but I don't want to upset
That
anybody.
worked for me. All that worked
Yeah.
for me. I'm happy with the ending.
I actually surprisingly held back on that one. You could go read the articles I did about the Force Rock. I'm like, Luke's meditating and something happens there, but less people picked up on it than did. Mike says, who is Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers playing? At this point, is it Flea? It wasn't Forlom. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
It's
I'm
for
joking.
LOM.
I'm
It's
sure
not
it's Flea.
That was
no,
was
it is
kindly.
Flea. It is
Someone
Flea.
was kindly letting us know we don't pronounce it 3-po, so I'm like, that's true, but I just think like it's just easier to say Forlom than for LOM.
Here's the truth of the whole thing. We always called it Forlom. There were ads for Zuckuss calling him for LOM on TV back in the day.
Oh, I saw this.
But it was so fucked up that they thought Zuckuss was Forlom and Forlom was Zuckuss.
You know what? I thought that for the longest time.
What? No, that was because they literally Kenner fucked it up. Kenner got it switched up and got it wrong. And when you saw Zuckuss called Forlom, you didn't think his name was for LOM because you didn't think it was a robot. He was
it wasn't until that Carlos Maglia Underworld thing that has Zuckuss and all them in it that I realized what character was what. So,
okay. For me. To be honest with you, I don't know when they fixed it. I don't remember now if they fixed it during the original Kenner run or not. But yeah, it was really weird. It was
we're talking 2001.
So and we're talking like 19, in the 80s when they fucked it up. Right. Star Wars Meg says, I just hope folks will allow themselves to do the story for what it is. That is the hope. But this ain't our first rodeo. You can't please everyone. And
the average fan, they don't know of any of this stuff, Meg. Like the real world. We're the hardcores. The real world people, they love them. I had friends, I shit you not. I was talking to a buddy out in Seattle because I'm probably going to go out there for Avatar 2. They have that nice 3D IMAX, in December. Yeah. He was like, there's a Boba Fett show? and he's like, I've been following, when did this come out? He follows nerd stuff. He just missed it. It does. So this is not the average conversation.
We're all happy. And it's probably if he just binged watched the whole thing in one day, you probably have a much better time than we had. Because the momentum of the good parts will carry over. Oh, okay.
He did tell me it was weird with the back to stuff. What was up with all that? Over and over. He did, even though he did binge it over 2 days. He was a lot of repeated stuff there. I'm like, yeah, I don't know, man. No one knows. But he liked it, more or less. So.
Right. Well, that's good. I mean, it's good. It's good when your average person likes it, but also the other thing is to remember that we're so seeped in this. Remember what the question was when we started covering Kenobi, Meg? Does he leave Tatooine was the question. Does he? How? Does he? The average person is hasn't even asked that until they're going to start watching it. And then when they do, they're like, whoa. So they're so far behind in digesting this story than we are. You know what I mean? Some of us have digested it so far, they're already shitting on it. But here we are. And it's weird, right? I mean, when you think about it in those terms, we're on a whole different part of the conversation already. So I am curious to see how does Facebook and Twitter and those kind of places, how do they comprehend it as it comes out?
You gonna keep doing this for a bit? I was gonna warm up some coffee. If we're gonna
go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, I'm having a good time.
Give me a minute.
All right, cool. Arya says, so the EOP sequence can only happen in episode 1. To the best of my knowledge, you'll have an EOP at the start. You have an EOP at the end. We're going to have a EOP bookends. But to the best of my knowledge, we don't go back to Tatooine at all. I would, is there a chance we cut back to Owen and Beru and little Luke in the middle of one of those episodes just to be like, hey, remember me? I would guess it's possible, but to the best of my knowledge, we don't. And obviously that wouldn't even include an EOP because that's Kenobi's question is what happens to Kenobi's Eopie while he's gone? Think about that. Who's feeding it? Who's taking care of it? Does he just like let it wander around? I wonder if they explain that. Is Kenobi a bad pet dad? These are the important questions. So, yeah. So, Salty Texas Ranger says, always give the creative process a chance. That is my actual like philosophy on with spoilers and stuff like that. Now, if you hear something incredibly broken and stupid, I understand, getting crazy. But if you can find anywhere to give it credit in the execution, like maybe when I see it, it's going to be different. And you also always need to ask yourself before you start throwing a fit, is it my lack of creative vision here that's getting in the way? I think that's if you're going to consume spoilers, is the least you can do for the creatives. Yeah, I mean, and it's a complicated question about like the American capitalist corporation's going to say, you don't own Star Wars, we do. But I also say you don't own culture, we do. And so what's the line? Well, you could get legal about it, but in reality, it's a lot more complicated than I think. So, but I always try and give the creatives the benefit of the doubt until I see it. Real Ben Maynard says, I really feel like the general audience will like this. I really do. I think so too. It's not that complicated of a show. When Rob comes back, I'll let him reiterate about this, but he always says like, complicated world, simple story, complicated world. Kind of got to like do one or the other to make it interesting. And in this particular like series, like the problem is Kenobi, Leia's the MacGuffin. By the way, that's the other thing I've seen. People have tried to say Kenobi's the MacGuffin, there's a bait and switch and all of that stupid bullshit. They said that knowing Leia's in it, but they don't know anything about story whatsoever. And I'm not claiming to be a fucking expert either. I'm not an academic in storytelling. I don't pretend to be. I just have a passing interest, I'm an amateur enthusiast of storytelling. And so with that in mind, Leia's the MacGuffin if you want to get like, into the nitty gritty of this. And so why would they say that? I don't know, but the general audience is going to understand that instinctively right away. This is the MacGuffin, and Kenobi's broken heart is the issue. And gonna take it from there, and it's gonna move from there, and then everything is very much like almost like a road movie after that. Aeronauts are hilarious. Yeah, they are. The Book of Boba Fett one that they did, like I said, I just randomly hear it was the hottest day or whatever he says. He says we were eating ice cream to beat the heat. There's something about the delivery of it. I love it. They're musical guys, and I think that's why. Meg was 3 when that book came out. Meg, were you one of those little weird kids that was like reading a book at 3? But okay, you read it at university. Okay, yeah. That like it's that book once again too. Like what I was trying to get at earlier is if I read it today, I may not put it may not have the emphasis that it had then. Was you really were hungry for Attack of the Clones? You wanted to know where the story was going and what's going on, and then you get and I just remember there being a bunch of plants and being like, I don't want to hear about space plants.
I thought maybe that was going to be some weird tie back to like why Yoda went to Dagobah or something. Like I was giving it the benefit of all the doubt.
Yeah,
not good.
Well, what did you think, Ben? Oh, by the way, Ben, I last podcast on the left did a really, really rad series on Blackbeard, and this guy, this like I think it was a British guy named Maynard killed Blackbeard. So you might be a descendant of the murderer Blackbeard who cut his head off. You ever think about that, Ben? Probably not. Aria, this Star Wars celebration is going to be something special, and it's going to be filled with new announcements. So you should risk it and I'll go and go, laughing my ass off, even if that means you might die. Yeah, that
Arya's dark, man.
Arya, you're trying to kill me. Every now and then, dude, I think like Arya's my friend, but sometimes I think she's trying to kill me, dude.
I can keep the podcasting going if you die, but I'm gonna go crazier than Mike Zero. Like I'll just call it Making Star Wars Zero.
Here's what I want you to treat me like Q. Like Jason's gone into hiding and he's giving me another transmission, and I just want you to just keep making shit up from there. Yeah,
we'll do.
Yeah,
happily.
Yeah, we'll do that.
We'll
do that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're laying it all out here. So if you fall for it later, it's on you guys. No, yeah, my whole thing with COVID and that kind of shit is the people who you kill that you don't know you killed, that you don't know who you gave it to. You might, your Postmates person might come up to you, for instance, that not that this happens, but they get it, but they take it home to their they shouldn't be postmating if they have a sick grandmother, but they take it home to their grandmother, and then she dies, their grandfather, whoever, their immune compromised person. That's where I get like, a bit about it. But I also come at it from another angle sometimes where I'm like, you know what? Everybody's vaxxed now. If you're compromised, maybe you're the one who needs to be in the bubble because the rest of the world can't be in the bubble forever. And it's complicated. I don't know what the answer is. So, yeah, but we'll see. I have asthma. Maybe I'll die if I get it. But, it'd be nice to die going on top right now, People will be like, man, remember that guy did all the Kenobi stuff and then he died? those were the days. Anyways, Shogadorda says, side note, you all check out Love, Death, Robot Season 3. Pretty cool overall, but Jabiro deserves an Oscar. I haven't seen Season 1. Have you seen it, Rob?
Yeah, I like Season 1. Thought it was cool.
Yeah.
I haven't watched the others, but I'll get to it. I watch so much anime. Like, I love sports anime. Like, I'm not a big fan of watching sports, but I love sports anime because it just makes any sport. Like, there's a badminton anime that's pretty cool. So, like, I love anime.
Didn't you watch a volleyball one, or am I thinking of the badminton one?
Haikyuu, yeah, it's one of the best anime ever made, dude.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, the music's so good. Just type in, if you ever need motivational workout music, go type in Haikyuu, Haykiuu music, and just listen to some of that.
Yeah.
Hiroyuki Sawano is the composer name. Hiroyuki Sawano is just one of the most brilliant composers. He's brilliant. So, but as an anthology series, Love, Death, Robots is what we had all hoped the heavy metal movie would have been. You know what I'm saying? Like, you had this vision of what that would be, and then you saw it. You're like,
wait, heavy metal? The movie is great. I don't know what you're talking about right now.
Sure. So
I love it.
I know you do. It's got John Candy. We're all okay. Look, Love, Death, Robots.
The
fulfills
aliens,
the promise.
It's like at the sail barge from Return of the Jedi did cocaine in a shot. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that I've seen Explorers. Germs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gives you a cold, diarrhea.
I was thinking about that about Explorers the other day. It's like I love that like twist in it where you're like, there's the aliens and they're messing with them, but then at the end the parents come home, and like the aliens that are messing with us were just the kids. Like, it was just fun. But but I'm always looking for stuff to check out. So when I'm in an anime mood, I'll check it out. Don says, I lived in Boise for 30 plus years, so my ears perked up.
I live about 5-10 minutes right outside it in Meridian, which is Ada County. So I'm a little bit more conservative here, but I hang out at Boise. They got this cemetery right across from my barber shop that is straight up the cemetery. Like, it's like the cemetery you see in Buffy. Like, it's the same kind of. I'm like, you got fucking Sunnydale right across the street. Like, I want a bunch of stakes break in case of vampires and shit. Like,
Star Wars theology, how's it going? I hope we didn't accidentally spoil you on anything today, and that you get to see this part. Quick question: I had avoided the Kenobi leaks. Do you think is a good approach to get into Kenobi series? I just read Masters and Apprentice and Kenobi Legends, and I'm reading Brotherhood. Personally, I am so cynical about anything that is supposed to tie into anything because it usually really
Catalyst.
Except for something that like literally designed to. But none of these Catalyst are. So I think it's personal. I think if reading like Kenobi stuff gets you like in the Kenobi mood and all that, then definitely do it. Knowing what I know of the Kenobi series, and then knowing like what the new stuff is doing a little, in passing anyways, I don't see like strong connections that make me go like, oh, you gotta do it. Like it's not Catalyst, what Catalyst was to Rogue One. I don't think that there's a lot of stuff that's like that. And I do kind of wonder, and you can let us know, Star Wars Theology, after you see it, what you think. Because when they show Kenobi, like in the other books, like in the Kenobi book, for instance, he's not happy, but he's not depressed. He's not like a destroyed man who then has like pulled himself up. He's just kind of like Kenobi, and doesn't really change very much. And I'm curious to see if the series ends up ruining those depictions for people.
For further proof that the Star Wars universe doesn't really have like an internet. Because if Kenobi was out in the desert reading the internet, the Jedi fucking suck, blah 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 blah. Like he would have just thrown himself into the Sarlacc pit,
Ronnie said, "I just saw the TV spot and like, can the Inquisitors just land in the middle of the street? Like they don't have to get one of those garages that Han had to get in Episode 4." No, man, because if you talk, they don't give a shit. Nobody talks back to them. And that's one of the things we didn't really discuss too much. But when Reva lands, she's like yelling to everyone, like, don't hide these Jedi. And that's because they're, you know who they're talking about, right? When she's saying that. Sorry, Nari. Yeah. She's trying to find Nari on the streets of Tatooine. And so yeah, no one is, but I mean, I noticed that too. It's a huge dick move. It's like those people who like take up 2 spots and park in front of a place, and you're like, who the fuck do you think you are? In this case, if you were to talk to them, they will cut your hands off. So they just let them, I think. I think they just say, hey, park wherever you want. But Real Ben Maynard says, since we see Leia in Kenobi, will we see her and Bell in Andor season 1, or is that more of a season 2 potential? I doubt it, dude. I mean, not Bell Organa necessarily, but what I would say is it was like during COVID, which makes things a little harder as we keep talking about. But I didn't ever hear any reports like about Jimmy Smits being over in the UK. And if anybody can put him there, then I think we'd have maybe, maybe the potential that if that is a thing, but we didn't see them. So I'm not really holding my breath on Leia specifically, but I would also think that, but for the record, for what it's worth, Jimmy Smits doesn't seem to be like a party guy, and it was COVID. So we probably wouldn't know. I knew that he filmed on Rogue One, for instance, but I never got a report saying Jimmy Smits was, down at this bar, or Jimmy Smits was seen at this restaurant or having a meeting here or anything like that. I was never able to put him. So it tells me that he's probably a pretty chill guy who's not
Smits Watch 2022.
Well, no. This would have been Smits Watch 2021, and it failed. Okay. If he was doing anything, it failed. So, but I'm not. Once again, I don't know. I know the least about Andor right now, I'd say, than anything. I probably know more about Ahsoka than I know about Andor at the moment. So, Mark says, I think it might be a good thing that people saw the leak, so that when the crazy breaking canon stuff happens, and he says that in quotations, they have acclimated to the story and accept it. Yeah, that is my take for it. That's why once I had it, triple sourced, that's why I moved forward with it, because I knew it was going to blow up.
Crunch cereal, triple sourced,
triple berry spoilers.
Triple berry spoilers, Captain Crunch cereal.
Yeah, but yeah. So I do think it ultimately, a lot of people, like I've seen people on Facebook that are just feeling the reverberations of that now, that are just seeing it now for whatever reason. This breaks canon, and you're like, no, it actually doesn't. It breaks your idea of what canon was, but nah, it completely like doesn't. And
welcome to 1999, Jason.
So no, really. I mean, that's That's what's weird though to me. There's always new fans coming in, always new people becoming, onto the internet scene of Star Wars, but it is weird how many of these people have done this now over 5 times and it's their first rodeo. It's like you'd think it was day one. It was just some people don't learn. This is just what
I'm reminded
what
of
I've learned.
too, because we always like to bring up Batman, right? Is remember when Batman Begins came out, there was a group of people who thought that was a prequel to the Tim Burton Batman.
Oh,
Yeah, that was a strong. Well, I don't know how's he get. What happens in the city, and it's all different, and it's supposed to get like they thought it was a prequel because it said Begins.
What? You're telling me that was the first time he got nuts? When does he get nuts? Yeah, right. Gotta say though,
Bangkok.
I'd rather hang out with Michael Keaton's Batman. He looks like he's more of a party man. Real Ben Maynard
He'll
says,
give you a grant if you just ask for it.
Yeah, I need that. New pirate info on the Maynard Pass is interesting. Laugh a lot. Yeah, I was thinking of you. I was imagining you cutting off Blackbeard's head. I was like, it's probably Ben Maynard. Shogun says, don't shit on my heavy metal. The movie Rob. Nosedive. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Bro, I was watching Robotech and Voltron. Like, Heavy Metal the movie wasn't as hardcore as you wanted it to be. Plus, I had like access to Fist of the North Star. I didn't no subtitles, just in Japanese. And I was like, if you're watching Fist of the North Star and someone tells you how hardcore heavy metal is, it ain't. Like,
well, no. At the time that heavy metal came out, it was.
For America, but if you're watching,
that's I mean, exactly though.
Like import anime, like no.
Most people had only seen fucking Bugs Bunny and Tom and Jerry at that point, and
the other heavy metal movies weren't good either. The ones they did in 2000.
No, heavy metal is. I don't like it at all. I actually don't. I only like the original heavy metal movie. I just has a good vibe to it, and it's. I think the art looks cool, But yeah, I mean, no, in terms of like saying, is it the most hardcore thing now? Not even a little bit,
I was saying Love, Death, and Robots when I watched. I'm like, this is what I had imagined the heavy metal movie. When I'm saying quality of animation, just the variety of stuff, and I don't know, like robots and sci-fi.
Darren says, if Luke could meditate and send himself across the galaxy to fight Kylo at the end of The Last Jedi, why could he never just teleport himself to Exegol and take down Palpatine? Because he's not really there. He can't really hit Kylo. He's literally just an apparition. So if he was to do that, he would show up as a ghost of Palpatine and be like, and then die. And then Palpatine would be like, great.
It was to give the galaxy the legend of Luke Skywalker they were looking for. You know, that he showed up and single-handedly defeated, and that's not what happened. It was that's why it's weird when and no one still showed up. I'm like, well, then what was the point of that fucking ending? Like, that should have been the rallying point for everything after the fact. But
Ryan did his part. Ryan did exactly what he was supposed to do.
Which is why Ryan. They should just let Ryan make the next one. Like, once you're done with that ending, man, like, just let him continue that. Like,
yeah.
There would have been no Exegol and Palpatine and Ryan wrote episode 9. Let's just be honest,
Maul Sook says, hey dudes, just want to say I love what you do. You're the right kind of optimistic, jaded old men. We're the same age with conversations that help me get through work shifts. Thanks. Oh, thanks. I appreciate that.
If we ever do a comedy like improv stand-up, we should call ourselves optimistic, jaded old men.
Optimistic, jaded old men.
Ojam. It's our robot. Optimistic, jaded old machine. Rojam.
Rojam. Rojam bot. Arya says, in comics, Grand Inquisitor comes back alive and is stuck in a hell prison created by Vader. The comics get into some ruthless stuff that Vader does. That sounds kind of weird, but sounds like it could be fun.
Sounds like a sex dungeon to me.
Yeah. So depending on his point of view, it might be heaven. Maul Slick says, trying to send a tip via YouTube on iPhone. I can't figure it out. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's experienced that.
Yeah, that for some reason YouTube doesn't, YouTube takes a cut of everything. They don't like to make money off of their phone, and that's where everybody watches it. It's really weird how behind they are. Borno says, is there any update on Kenobi flashbacks in the Clone Wars era, including Cody? So I am Borno. to the best of my knowledge, I would not expect Cody. I do not think Cody is in it whatsoever. And the other part about it, is there an update on the Kenobi flashbacks? So the only thing I could say, and what my, the people who filmed the shit said to me was, we filmed a dojo sequence, and that's like the main, that's what we did. And they're like, if they did anything else with another crew or something like that, I don't know, but I don't think so. I think it was us. And so only expect to have the dojo flashback. And then if anything else happens, it's just like icing, on the cake. But that's the cake. If there's any more icing, I can't tell you conclusively. And the only thing I know for certain is that the main flashback sequence is that. And I can see there being, I do think there's a few little callback moments like that, but we'll know in episode 1, because if those moments do happen, I believe they happened in episode 1. So we'll know right away. And if it doesn't happen in episode 1, then really only expect it to be in episode 5. So yeah. Alfred says, will Reva wear any helmet in any scenes? So I know that they did make helmets, and we haven't seen any helmets. So what I'm going to throw out there is we may see the helmets in a moment in the on Nur when they go to the fortress. Maybe the helmets are just going to be like, I think we saw like a little Padawan's helmet like on display, like kill these guys when you see them with these little helmets or something. I don't know, but we saw one of those in the background. So maybe the helmets were just meant to be set dressing, is where I'm at with it. But at this point, I have not had any more helmets. I mean, and then you have like the Fifth Brothers helmet, which complicates things. And the Grand Inquisitor in the old series in Rebels, if I remember correctly, only wears the helmet when he's flying his TIE Interceptor or his TIE Advanced, his version of a TIE Advanced. So, and in this series, they don't fly TIEs. They have the Scythe. Excuse me, it's a ship called the Scythe, and they're all together. So, one question I have right now, off the top of my head too, is does the Scythe get destroyed? Because we don't ever see it again. So I'm kind of wondering if it's going to get destroyed on Jabim.
Well, there was that one shot on Jabim when it's pulling into the It's pulling into the.
Yeah. It's all up in the series, like for sure.
Right.
So I'm curious if by the end of it we see it destroyed.
I see.
Yeah. Ben says, I'm so sick of strict canon chatter. Look at Halo on Paramount. It's a standalone series and people are going crazy because they changed a couple side characters from white to black. Annoying as fuck. Yeah, I don't really follow that one, so I can't really comment on it or like know the veracity of the claims or how nuts it is or whatever. Oh my god, look who it is! It's a little Spreezy. Little Spreezy showed up.
Hello, my dear midichlorians.
How's it going, man?
Yeah, good, man. Hey, can you do me a favor? Can you send me a text message? Because I don't get notifications on Twitter. It's pretty annoying.
Oh, okay. You messaged me on Twitter this morning, so I just responded back there. But got it. Yeah.
Hi, Rob.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on the little TV spot that we got there?
Yeah, it's good to see new footage, but I just want the show already. I mean, we're like 5 days away, so.
Yeah. Are you of the mindset that's just him leaving Tatooine and not the meditation scene?
Yeah. It's just in the spacecraft. Yeah.
Yeah. Once I saw the clothing, I figured I don't know for certain. I don't know for a fact, but after he gets burned, I have to imagine he has a new outfit or some different kind of like something different about his clothes, unless he's only burned on the arm. And that's just that, because I have like kind of conflicting reports on that, about how he's burned. I'm like, does his hair get burned off? Is he like a bald ass Kenobi at the end? They're like, no. So I'm like, well, it's not that bad, is it?
In the leaked fight that we see, that he's wearing the exact same outfit. So maybe he gets burnt and we get something new, but I'm not expecting anything major.
Yeah. I mean, for all we know, like Darth Vader uses the Force and pulls his hand out and pulls his sleeve down and then pours acid on his hand. He's like, ah!
Yeah,
It could be.
it
I
could
doubt
have.
it, but you know, but yeah, it's also, for all we know, he's burned up. His clothes are all burned in one shot, and then we get him like 2 minutes later, and he's perfect again, like Han and Luke on the Death Star. You know what I mean? When their hair's wet, and then all of a sudden it's perfect again. So, So Kenobi's lust. Whoa, this is making Star Wars after dark. I suspect Obi-Wan had an affair on the side with Padme and slept with her behind Anakin's back. He can't resist his lust with Beru in this overall show as well. I look forward to him being a womanizer. Whoa, this guy or lady is
Obi-Wan Kenobi, huh?
If you watch yesterday's show, I laid out exactly how Kenobi force banged Beru and with using his super speed that you see in the opening of the Phantom Menace, and that made her look old. So, hey Josiah, how's it going? I cannot wait for this show. Josiah is my twin brother. Did you know that? We don't look the same though. We're different ages. Okay, there's absolutely no relation between me and Josiah, but we have the same last name. But yeah, so today, guys,
you're not related to Montgomery either, huh?
Montgomery Ward, yeah. That's my name on there. We used to hang out in Montgomery Ward's when we used to ditch school. We used to like go to the pre-set up rooms, and we would like just use it as our living room and hang out in there. And they were kind of afraid of teenage punks, and they usually let us. But anyways, today in Fortnite is the Kenobi Cup.
Nice.
And me and Bespin are it's a duo tournament. If you make the top 250 in the world, you get the Kenobi skin. So I told him, I told Bespin, I said, Bespin, if we don't win the skin, we got to close our sites down. And he's scared, right? But we have to win. So if we don't win, it's over. So I suggest everybody to go join the Kenobi Cup today and play really, really, really badly. And if you see us, just let us kill you.
Yeah.
If you like the sites.
Or you just pay $10 and get the skin. So either way.
Yeah, but $10. I mean, man, in this economy, that was for you, Rob. That was my avatar.
I got it. I got
okay,
the joke.
Okay. Thank you.
I was letting you have it.
Alfred says, "Isn't it weird that they won't say who will be voicing Vader?" Yeah, that I think is, I could be wrong, but my reading of it is it means it's not James Earl Jones. Because it would just be like, wouldn't it be great to have a fluff piece about James Earl Jones playing Darth Vader and him just like, obviously, like, what do you get if you're James Earl Jones, you walked into a studio and you read, "No, I am your father." I sound like more like Sulu there. But you know what I mean? You just like it's probably not that big of a thing to him, really, when you get down to it, considering like he just went into a studio and read lines like for a couple of days, probably for about a week of his life. and right. It's really important though. But anyways, I kind of think it's not him, but I don't know for certain. No one's told me. No one's been able to tell me if it's the Jones or not. I don't think it is though. What do you guys think? Just nothing's on the line. What do you bet? Do you bet it's James Earl Jones? Or you bet it's not?
I'm with you, Jason. I don't think it is. I
think
they'll. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. I personally hope it is. I don't mind the voice, but I know but a lot of people like the what's his name? Scott Lawrence. I think Arya come in, Scott Lawrence. Yeah. I hope it's Scott. I hope it's if it's not Jones, I hope it's Scott Lawrence. I think he's maybe my favorite non-Jones Vader yet. The work in Vader Immortal and the work in Jedi Fallen Order is, I think it's as good as it gets. To be honest, I don't see anybody else doing it any better. So he sounds like Revenge of the Sith Vader. He has a lot of that kind of has a little bit of bite to him. I was just kidding with not crapping on heavy metal, Rob. I hate the saturation of context typing like this. Don says,
yeah, I didn't take it too serious. Don't worry about
it. Don says, Hayden studied like Ewan and then a voice modulator. You know what I saw yesterday going around were like those like Disney fan sites going, Rupert Friend honors Star Wars Rebels by not watching it. I was just like, oh my god, like how clickbaity can you get? Can you get any more clickbaity than that? You know, just it's like, do fans know that if they are being like manipulated? Like are they aware, or do they fall for it? Does that really work? Because man, it makes me just so annoyed. Especially, you know what annoys me about it is that I don't think he's that important.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like they're going after, if they want to be effective trolls, they're going after the wrong threads. But Chilean Way says, do you have any idea who will be playing Thrawn and Ezra? I've heard so many mixed reports. So the last time I really had a chance to like dig into this, it was a few months back now. So if somebody's been cast, but what I was told when I asked someone who casting's not my thing, Chilean Ways, by the way. I always say that. I'm not a you know, that's casting agents. They're a manipulative bunch. I don't like jumping into those waters. It's a waste of time. I would rather find out stuff about the story and stuff like that. But I was told like what people were saying was bullshit. Like when you had casting going on from people about Thrawn and Ezra, I was told like they haven't made a choice about anybody. They're like, I'm not saying they didn't see him. I'm not saying that they didn't try out, or whatever. But they were saying like, no one's had to roll. And the one thing I can throw in is I don't think they filmed anything yet. And I say this based off of maybe last Tuesday. Okay. If they filmed after last Tuesday, there you go. But I don't think they have filmed anything. And so what I keep saying as a precautionary bit of like information, maybe be prepared that Ezra and Thrawn don't show up in the first episode, maybe not even to the back end of the season.
Yeah.
If the series is ultimately about finding them, I would put it at mid-season earliest. If that's the thrust of the story, finding them has to be like, so that way when you find them, it matters. And then they have to be in the shit and you got to get them out. So that's why I'm thinking like it's probably like towards the middle of the season that we find them at the earliest, and then we get them out and we reach some kind of resolution by the end. But if it's an ongoing series, it also has to leave with, well, what's next? And so, but also, what if they don't find them until the very end of the series, and then the question is they find them at the end of this at season 1, and then it's what's next. So yeah, but I'm interested in seeing how this unfolds. Got to be honest, I'm on one day the wind's blowing this way, and I'm really excited for Ahsoka. The next day it's blowing this way, and I'm like, this might just be really fan servicey. This might just be a whole lot of remember Ahsoka, remember Thrawn, remember Ezra, and so I hope the idea has more meat to it. I hope it has some depth. Like I felt this way about Kenobi too, though. When I very first started hearing about it, I was just like, yeah, you're doing it because you can. Should you? Getting all Jurassic Park about it and stuff. And
Right.
But Kenobi, I feel like, dealt with its problem. Kenobi gave us the reason for it to exist, and it's a story that I want to hear. And so I'm hoping that this one has it too, because a live action series just existing because of a moment in Star Wars Rebels where they wanted to like make it bigger than it was doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get a good live action series out of it. But it doesn't mean that you won't. I concede that. But yeah, my takeaway, Chilean, anyways, is that those reports were, I think, jumping the gun and roll with it, not being legit. But at the same time, maybe it's one of those weird situations where things got out so fucking early that they just decided to bury it and make us doubt it, which could happen. So I hope I'm not crushing anybody's dreams here, because I
Rosario Dawson like congratulate me and Masood on Instagram. That was weird.
Yeah, but also do you believe that moment in the, I think it was the Vanity Fair article, where they talk about how she jumped the gun with they know Sky Guy?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, they pretty much like acknowledge that it basically she just gets on social media and starts fucking replying.
Okay.
That's the picture they're trying to paint. Anyway.
Fine,
So we won't know until after the show comes out what the real situation was. It'll be an easy read looking back on it. Yeah. But they paint a picture that it, yeah. But it was true the whole time that Ezra and Thrawn are in it. Ezra, Thrawn, Hera, Sabine, Chopper, the Ghost. Those things are coming. So when she saw that, she was like, "Oh, there we go." But if I remember right, wasn't it like one of those like fucking chintzy fucking make shit up day by day things, like we got this covered or something, who she responded to with it too, which I think is a very good indication that it was a fuck up, like a straight up fuck up on that one, because we got this covered, it's never had anything covered, but it's lies and a bunch of bullshit and shit that it spreads.
We got this zeroed.
Yeah. Mike Zeros, we got this covered. A Mike Zero joint. The Old Republic says Vader's voice might not be real in Kenobi. They could use deepfake like tech, like they did with Luke's voice in Mando. See, like with that kind of concept, yeah, we've discussed this potentiality. I think there's two ways of going about this and looking at this. So the first way is that if you do that, and James Earl Jones is a live, living, working actor, very fucked up unless you've paid him to emulate his voice, and you've licensed his voice or bought the rights to make synthetic versions of his voice and he gets paid. Then in which case, cool. So, but the other way is, if the guy is living, why would you go with the fake thing? If the guy, like, you know what I mean? Like Mark Hamill does not sound, his voice has changed as he's like hit 70 years old. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing bad about that. That's life. So I can see why they had to do it for Luke. I still don't, even though he may sound older to some, I don't hear it personally. I don't. I listened to it after the show one day. I was like playing the clips. I'm like, I don't sounds the same to me. But you could definitely take it as like, considering the mood of the show, that might even actually help or be okay. Okay, so here we go. Aria just sent me a clip. Hold on, of that one dude. So hold on, let me see if I could get this onto here, and we can like listen to his voice real quick, of the guy who we think will be doing Vader if it's not James Earl Jones or synthetic. But they didn't go synthetic for what it's worth either. They didn't go synthetic with the more recent things. Okay. Stop playing video. These videos do whatever they want sometimes when I'm streaming. But that stuff obviously might have been before they were really in on it, really in on the synthetic stuff too. So I'll concede that point. All right, so this is the video right here, and I'm gonna play it. Let me know if you guys can hear it.
You have failed me, Inquisitor. You would be wise to surrender. Submit, surrender. You cannot escape. Feeble, surrender the holocron. We shall see such hatred. You would have made an excellent Inquisitor. Yes. Strong with the dark side. I can... So, could you guys hear that okay?
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah,
You accurately predicted the trailer, Rob.
One
wise to accurately predict the trailer, Rob. I want to get this going. Like I need.
Yeah. Well, and thank you, Aria, for sending that to us. Yeah, he does like there's a thing that people who do Vader do well. It's when they have the low end of the voice. Like Vader has a high end and a low end to his voice, and a bad Vader hits one or the other. A good Vader hits both. I know that sounds like a
Right.
given, but it is one of those things where when you really are evaluating if it's on or not.
Right. Gotta do the what? Right.
Right. What?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So yeah, Arya thinks he sounds like Revenge of the Sith Vader a lot, and that was an amalgamation, wasn't it? Vader's voice might not be Obi-Wan Kenobi. Okay, sorry, I jumped all the way back up. How? Don says so many falling for purely speculative reports. Yeah. Well, what's happened is you know, a bunch of people took my stuff, then they extrapolated upon it to make it whatever they want. Hey, Neil Mohammed, thank you for the super chat, bud. I appreciate it. Damn, 2 shows in one weekend. Just jumped on, still doing Revenge of the Sith later. Yep. Where I was just about to
technically
start.
it would be like 2 shows or 3 shows tomorrow once they all ingest. You know, like so Monday you're gonna get all the shows.
Well, let's not tell people not to watch the show. I mean, no, hopefully. Yesterday the show came out and it was fine. I had a couple of people write me and say, "Hey, the show was just fine. Everything was good." And it was funny because me and Rob had been talking about how maybe I should just re-upload it and see what happens in case.
But you lose the chats.
Yeah, we lose the chats if we didn't feature
lose
it.
all the chat when we're conversing with you folks. You're not gonna be able to see any of it. So there's nothing we can do. It's a YouTube thing. There's nothing we can do. Sorry.
Rosie asked, "Do you think we'll get an Ahsoka cast reveal announcement at Celebration, like other people said?" I'm excited to see who's playing them, even if we don't see them soon. So here's the big question. I think, are they going to be real about the cat being out of the bag, or are they going to play the Princess Leia game with Thrawn and Ezra? I hope not. And but it's kind of weird because if the whole mystery is will they find them, and then you tell us who they've cast, there's no mystery. So a part of me is very curious to see how they go about it. But the cat is out of the bag. Everybody knows. Everybody who cares about Ezra and Thrawn knows. That's the whole thing. So you're going to be hiding it from a bunch of people who don't care. A bunch of people who've never seen Star Wars Rebels, read a Star Wars book, or, so they don't know who Thrawn is. So I don't know how they handle this one. I think it's a bit complicated. It's a bit weird. But I am of the opinion that they will probably do cast announcements for the general people, like the people like who was that? There was that one, Ewan McGregor's wife. I don't remember her name right now, but like people, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they like brought her out and the who was the other, the very like where was she from? She wasn't Ukrainian, was she? There was like a year like a
character that they're getting. Yeah, I know.
What was her name?
I don't know her name.
Okay. Yeah. The real purdy gal. The real purdy gal we saw on the internet. Ari says, how good would a deep fake Vader voice even be? Truly hope Scott got the job. Well, so the thing is when it comes to that kind of tech, we don't really know what the parameters of it are, but I would actually have more faith in them doing a good Darth Vader, which is a weird voice and not very much in a way not human, but also has modulation on top of it versus Mark Hamill. And they did such a good job with Mark Hamill, but we have questions here. Mark Hamill's registry is kind of in a higher octave, if you will, than Darth Vader's. And does it handle low octaves well? Stuff like that that I don't have the answers to. So I can't really speak to it. But yeah, I should maybe try to look into it. Maybe I'll fuck with it. Maybe I'll try to get Darth Vader to announce the show. At the opening of the show, we have Mark Hamill announcing the show, though, and that's real. He really did say MakingStarWars.com, but he said he wasn't trying to play a game with us.
Jason, some breaking news that there's a new Kenobi spot. I don't know if there's any new footage. I just got a notification.
Okay, send it to me right now, and then I'll put it up on. We'll
I
watch
haven't
it
seen
together.
it, so I don't know if there's new
Yeah.
footage. We'll check it out.
I think that's what we were covering at the beginning. It's the him in the hangar. I think.
Nah.
Well, no.
Came out 24
yeah,
minutes.
Oh, okay.
And by the way, this is ironically the one that we just showed right now was the one that we thought we were going to be getting weeks ago now.
Yeah,
2 weeks ago. Yeah.
I'm checking it out right now. Is there any new footage of it in it? I see some stormtroopers that might be. I don't know. I don't think it's anything new. Nah. Did you watch it? There's like one shot of stormtroopers holding up their guns, but I think we might have seen that before. It's just like so zoomed up in. Yeah, it's not new. There's nothing new there. But we were Johnny on the spot, and we know it's not. Darren says so many fans on TikTok now think we're getting a mention of Duchess Satine after Star Wars has recommended fans watch that arc in the Clone Wars. Yeah.
He's gonna get it. He's gonna get it on, you know,
right? Yeah,
it's really Obi-Wan, the making of Corky, you know, like the ruination of Satine, you know, if you know what I mean.
The ruination. Rosie Day says, I admit I'm secretly hoping Lars will be playing Thrawn, although I know I shouldn't give myself expectations. Yeah, I really, yeah. No, Lars, is it Mendels? No. Fucking
his brother.
Galen Erso's brother in real life. Whatever the fuck their names are.
Uh-huh. It's one of those Baldwins. There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Helmsworth.
I think it's Billy Baldwin. I think Billy Baldwin is playing Thrawn and Ezra.
Yeah.
He's blue when he's Thrawn.
First Duddits. From the actor who brought you Duddits, you get Thrawn. It's a nice Kasdan throwback, huh?
Yeah. But I mean, and then God, I can't remember anybody's name anymore. What's happened to my mind? What's her name? The Night Owl lady. Katie Sackhoff's character. Katie Sackhoff is one of the rare times in Star Wars stuff where we see the actor play the person, and it's because they were like literally like, wow, if I saw this as a live action character, it would be Katie Sackhoff. So then they went and they got her to do the voice, and then when they started using the character, it made sense, and the ages actually like aligned and everything. It all worked out perfectly. But
also,
I just
Patrick Stewart as Professor Xavier. Right?
Oh, I mean in Star Wars itself, but sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so but where I'm going with that is that like I don't think we should usually expect that. Like, you know, there's still cats that are mad. Ashley Eckstein is in Ahsoka in the series. Love Ashley. Think she's a great voice actor. That did a good job of the young thing, but there's no way in hell that would have ever like looked right and made sense. But when they do look right, or it might look right and it might make sense, that's when it's weird that they don't. But like the guy who did the Grand Inquisitor, I don't know what physical shape he's in. Was he ready to go out and do 4 months of lightsaber training and be ready to do whatever he had to do in this? I don't know, you know? So wait, do you think Ezra and Thrawn will ever be cast? Wait. So do you think Ezra and Thrawn have been cast at this point? No, I'm saying I don't know. But like about a week or so ago, I was under the impression they hadn't filmed anything. And then up recently, just a few months ago, they weren't cast. So what I am doing is I am saying I don't know, but throwing a little bit of shade on the reports that they had been, because I don't think that they were likely to be accurate. I think that they were people who were in contention or being seen. Or maybe it was just complete bullshit the whole entire time. I can't say. But yeah, I'm trying not to overstep the boundaries of what I know and make you think. I don't want to be a grifter who's like, oh boy, when you guys hear, you know, I'm trying not to do that to you because I don't know. Baymax says, you live? I'm in a playground and it's so bright I can't read the phone. Oh yeah, we're live. Real Ben Maynard says, there's not even a Kenobi panel scheduled on the Star Wars site, laugh out loud. Yeah, we were all under the impression that they were going to be showing it most likely, and that's why they changed to show the 2 episodes. Maybe it just has to do with they want to be able to talk about it when they do like, you know, do the panels and stuff, and Ewan's there. Because everybody knows Ewan's there. The Old Republic says, has anyone seen the Kenobi show yet? Some leaks to report from anyone, like early screenings, etc. I think, as far as I know, I'm the only one. And whenever I've heard anybody else like get into like they know stuff, I know for a fact that they don't, because there's things I haven't been able to talk about, things I haven't been able to say that I didn't have permission or whatever, and little things, but they're just details that they wouldn't have left out. And it was like they were just mining my reports at this point. So once again, if somebody else had one, I'd be like, yep, they got it. Even if I don't like them, I'd be like, they do know, you know, but so far that has not happened. So at this point, I'm not holding my breath that it will. So Mickelson, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Maynard, Slayer of Blackbeard. Baymax says, Bo-Katan, smash the like. Thank you, Baymax. Yeah, and like the video, you cretins. Real Ben Maynard, Bo-Katan. See, you guys got me. I'm so far behind in the chat that it's not of use at the time. Darren says, I'm predicting all these shows are done. Everyone's favorite will end up being Andor. I've said it's a sleeper since it was announced. This time it's set in such a pivotal time in the galaxy. I think it's the one, other than the fact that Cassian can't die, is the only thing going against it, which I don't even think can. And how many of these characters die in their own shows anyway? You know, for the most part, the heroes don't die. So it's not really like that big of a deal. You know, we know Indiana Jones is never going to die. Enjoy all the movies still. And so anyways, where I'm going with this is I think Andor has the potential to have the most open season of just being good, of just like being able to not have its hands tied and tell whatever story needs to be told in whatever way it can. You know what I mean? So yeah, and like Griffin points out, Kenobi can't die in his own show either, and that's the other thing that it had going against it. But yeah, I don't think it's an issue, because you know, Mando's not going to die in his own show. Ahsoka's not going to die in her own show. They're talking about her playing Ahsoka for years, unless it's all a big bait and switch. But then again, I guess Ahsoka wouldn't know if she died. They probably would keep it from her until she got to set that day, because that's what they do. They think that works. Instead, it makes everybody go, "Oh my God, she died! She died. Yeah, she did, dude. Oh shit, really? Yeah, she did." You know, that's what it actually
Disney's
does.
just trying to kill all of George Lucas's creations. Kathleen Kennedy's trying to replace Star Wars with new stuff. Like, yeah, you'll hear it.
My prediction, Darren, is if you ever met Mike Zero in real life, he probably reaches into his pocket and pulls out a handful of tots and offers you one. That's my prediction.
Dippin' Dot or tater tots?
Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gotcha.
But anyways, yeah. So we're and Chris, if you're free, come and hang out with us tonight. We're doing at 6:00 Pacific Standard Time. We are going to be watching Revenge of the Sith. We're just gonna I'm just gonna turn on TV here, and we're gonna like queue up our start, and you guys are gonna do the same. But the visual won't be on the screen, because they'll just take us down. But yeah, and we're just gonna like watch Revenge of the Sith and talk over it, because it's what we do. And and I'm gonna put the invite link to the stream to be on the thing for the channel members. So if you're a channel member and you want to jump on, you know, clean your room and jump on, or don't, I don't care. But but you could jump on and talk with us. And the only thing I'm gonna say about that is if we end up having a bunch of people who want to jump on, some of you will probably need to jump off. So if I kick you off, it's not because you suck. It's just because if we end up with people. But I've seen these things go both ways, where everybody wants to jump on. You're like, whoa, people jumped on. And other times people are like, I'm shy, and nobody wants to. They just want to watch it with you. So we're just gonna kind of play that part by ear. But come and hang out with us tonight. Me and Bestman Bulletin are gonna go and try to win the Kenobi Cup. If we win the Kenobi Cup, I'm gonna be all full of myself and jazzed. And if we don't win the Kenobi Cup, I'm gonna show up, and I'm gonna be like, really, like, this movie is too much for today. I can't take it.
I just wish that was a Mario Kart level. I want a Kenobi Cup. Like, actually, it's a race. You know what I mean? You get to shit the end with the cup.
Bombad Racing Kenobi Cup. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Come on, Lucasfilm. Come on, Star Wars games. But yeah, thanks to everyone who like the video, subscribe to the channel. Big like or thank you to everyone who is a channel member, and even bigger to anyone who super chatted the show today. I really, really do appreciate it. Like I said, I like being able to do this, and I don't like I don't want to grift on you, and I don't want to beg. So I do appreciate it when I don't have to, and you guys just support the show. It's so nice. Thank you. From the bottom of my black, dark Darth Vader colored little heart. And but we'll see you guys tonight. If you're a channel member, come and hang out. And the show tonight's only for channel members. I figured that was only fair to give something to the channel members. And I will re-upload the video to Patreon supporters. There's no way to do it both places at the same time right now, unfortunately. Sorry, there's just not, or I would do that. But and then Darth Maximus says, great stream. Thank you. And Tyrant says, but they can badly injure them. It's been 5 episodes showing them in Bacta tanks. Tyrant, you're right. And that's what hurts the most. But we'll see everybody later. And we're almost on Kenobi. Make sure you have the bell or whatever clicked so that way you know when we jump on here, because I think there's going to be a lot of just impromptu me jumping on and hoping that these guys come with me. And thanks both of you for this impromptu show again on the weekend.
Anytime.
Yeah. All right. Bye.
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
You know you should go.
Come on, let's go.
It's not about spaceships.